At the forefront of Africa's energy transition, innovative research is shaping the future of sustainable power systems. At the Central University of Technology Free State, the NRF Sarchi Chair in Smart and Sustainable Energy Systems is advancing cutting-edge solutions for resilient, intelligent, and low-carbon energy infrastructures.
My name is Professor Kanzumba Kusakana. I'm the holder of the NRF Sarchi Chair in Smart and Sustainable Energy System at Central University of Technology Free State, South Africa. I'm an electrical engineer with extensive experience in power system modeling, optimization, and simulation. Over the past years, I've worked extensively with intelligent integration of energy system, power system, hybrid renewable energy system, battery storage, relevant to developing countries.
The chair aims to become a leading research hub in Africa for intelligent and sustainable energy systems that support the transition towards resilient, low-carbon energy infrastructures. The research focuses on advanced AI-driven optimization and control of hybrid energy systems, integrating renewable energy sources, energy storage technologies, and emerging solutions such as hydrogen. Through this work, the chair addresses critical challenges related to energy reliability, affordability, and sustainability. To ensure long-term impact, the chair is structured around three key pillars: human capacity development through the training of postgraduate students, postdoctoral researchers, and early career academics; strategic partnerships with industry, government, and international collaborators to translate research into real-world applications; and the development of scalable technologies and decision support tools that can be adopted across Africa and beyond. Through these initiatives, the chair contributes not only to knowledge generation, but also to building lasting research capacity, fostering innovation ecosystems, and supporting sustainable development across the continent. Engineering intelligent energy systems for a resilient and sustainable future in Africa and beyond.
Hello, I'm Shengzhi Du from Tsinghua University of Technology. I'm grateful that the NRF granted this research chair on next-generation teleoperation platforms. I graduated from control theory and control engineering. My big dream is to apply what I have learned to real-world industry to benefit people. After then, I joined an advanced process control company to develop industry automation solutions. Distributed control systems were my main focus. The APC system we developed is commonly used in oil refinery and other process industries. Since coming back to academic, I'm interested in human-machine systems, especially its application in industry, such as underground mining, where heavy machinery is operated by human operators in tough working conditions. The automation for such underground mining scenario is challenging and unaffordable for South Africa mines, especially the small to medium-scale companies. However, the challenging working environment leads to low work efficiency, high downtime, and serious injury risk. This is also not affordable. This challenging situation inspired me to develop teleoperation human-machine systems, where the human operators and machines are physically separated. Operators are moved to comfortable and safe ground stations, while machines working in underground sites. As human operators rely on multimodal perception for situation awareness and decision-making, the main problem I have to solve is how to provide operators with a platform on which the real working states of the operated machines and environments are displayed, as operators could experience in on-site operations. The collaboration with industry is important for the success. The research has huge potential to be extended to many other sectors with challenging working conditions, such as mechanized agriculture, underwater, and more. For instance, for the agriculture machinery, such as mulchers, it is dangerous to operate such machines because of the complex ground conditions and flying chips. Teleoperation systems can move operators from the cabin to a safe venue at distance.
I am Muogo Solomon Khatle, a C1 NRF-rated scholar in the College of Human Sciences here at UNISA. I have published extensively on the intersections of Pentecostalism and social development and health in high-impact journals and leading publishers. I'm the chairperson of the Society of Pentecostal Studies. I appeared in the 2025 Scopus list of the top 2% scientists worldwide. I previously received visiting scholarships to the University of Birmingham and Oxford. The research here on welfare and social development in informal settlements is a response not only to the DSI-NRF Decadal Plan, but equally to the SDGs of the United Nations, particularly Goal 3, which aims to promote well-being. The chair is aligned to the goals in the National Development Plan and the National Priority of Poverty Alleviation and the National Strategy on Human and Social Dynamics. The research chair aims at strengthening research capacity, promoting innovation and knowledge, fostering collaboration, social and economic development, enhancing postgraduate training, and building international networks through the promotion of social welfare in the selected informal settlements of Alexandra, Tembisa, and Diepsloot, using the Pentecostal soteriology approach. This research chair will be sustained through internal and external research grants, the supervision of master's and doctoral studies, and the mentorship of the postdoctoral fellows to transfer knowledge and skills to the next generation of researchers. Partnerships with the Department of Social Development, Human Settlements, and social groups such as Abahlali baseMjondolo will be pivotal. I thank you.
Through the South African Research Chairs Initiative under the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation and the National Research Foundation, the University of Limpopo, UL, is taking a transformative step to confront one of South Africa's most urgent health challenges, the rising burden of non-communicable diseases. The university now hosts a decadal plan-aligned research chair in the prevention, control, and management of non-communicable diseases. Led by established health sciences researcher Professor Deboho Maria Mutiba. This Tier 2 chair is positioned within the human and social dynamics domain and aligned with Sustainable Development Goal 3, good health and well-being. Non-communicable diseases including hypertension, diabetes, cardiovascular diseases, cancer, and chronic respiratory illnesses are no longer simply medical conditions. In rural and undeserved communities, they are deeply shaped by poverty, inequality, limited access to health care, and low health literacy. Under Professor Mutiba's leadership, the chair is shifting the focus from reactive, hospital-based care to proactive prevention and long-term, community-based management. The impact is already visible. The chair strengthens primary health care through routine risk screening, community health promotion, and behavioral interventions that empower individuals to take control of their well-being. Communities are becoming active partners in disease prevention and management. Innovation drives this work. Mobile health applications, digital monitoring tools, and culturally relevant educational resources extend credible health information into remote areas while supporting healthcare workers with practical decision support tools. The chair also generates data to inform provincial and national planning, ensuring that policies and resource allocation are evidence-based and responsive to real community needs. Equally important is its investment in human capital. By training postgraduate students, postdoctoral fellows, and emerging researchers, the initiative builds research capacity at the University of Limpopo and cultivates the next generation of African public health leaders. University of Limpopo, finding solutions for Africa.
Hello, colleagues. I'm very happy to be here and welcome indeed to this.
I am Constance Sewani Rusike, the new Sachi Chair at Walter Sisulu University. I am the Chair for Rural Health Systems Research and Development and looking at integrating indigenous and allopathic health systems. The vision of the Chair is simple but ambitious. It is to transform the health care in the Eastern Cape by bridging the two systems, the traditional and the allopathic, so that they work hand in hand with the people of the Eastern Cape. The goal is to validate traditional medicine. For example, with medicinal plants. Look at the medicinal plants and their efficacy, issues of safety, and the dosing and things like that. So what will be the impact of this chair? It's not just about laboratory research. It is about the people of the Eastern Cape. We are hoping to empower the rural communities such that there is mutual education for diseases, for medicine, both allopathic and allopathic and traditional medicine. So it is for us to learn, for the community to learn, and we bring in the indigenous knowledge system experts, traditional healers, as well as the elders of the community. There is a common question. What happens after the initial grant? So what is the legacy of this chair? We are looking at training a constant pipeline of new generation researchers through postgraduate students, masters and PhDs, through postdoctoral researchers, and through mid-level career lecturers in the department and in the institution that will carry on the legacy. We are also hoping to have an innovative path through commercialization, development of new products, as well as inputting into policy that can then carry the legacy of allopathic and traditional medicine forward.
Our mountains hold a sense of awe and wonder, and this chair in trophic ecology is trying to uncover those intricate relationships between plants and animals, especially in South Africa's iconic genus, the Proteas, acknowledging all the while that these systems are under threat from alien plant species, and land transformation, human impacts, and climate change. And through international collaboration, we are setting up long-term monitoring systems in order to look at preserving biodiversity and human livelihoods in these mountains. I'm Sandy Lynn Steenhuisen, an Associate Professor of the Department of Plant Sciences on the Kwakwa campus of the University of the Free State. I'm a pollination ecologist by specialization and affiliate of the Afro-Montane Research Unit. Through global partnerships and international funding opportunities, this chair aims to become a research hub embedded in the Afro-Montane Research Unit, becoming an institute in the university, and this will sustain capacity and expand the project for the preservation of our mountain ecosystems and human livelihoods.
Which camera are you on?
Isondela Can you please put our hands together for the choir? Give them a great round of applause. Thank you so much. May I ask that we may all stand as the minister will be arriving. Thank you. Choir, you may lead the anthem. Thank you very much. We may take our seats. Honorable Minister, distinguished leaders and guests, ladies and gentlemen, dumelang, avusheni, dimasiari, maskati akanaka, sanbonani, good afternoon, goeiemiddag. As we gather where knowledge is planted like seed and innovation grows in forests of possibility. Gompieno na re kopane fa go tshola lesedi la kitso, lesedi la tšhono, lesedi la bokamoso. It is with profound honor that we stand at the threshold of possibility to witness the launch of the Decadal Plan-Aligned Research Chairs, a bold declaration that brilliance belongs in every corner of our nation. And transformation is not just an idea, it is our responsibility to carry together. We are deeply honored by the presence of the Honorable Minister, His Excellency Professor Blade Nzimande, whose leadership continues to shape pathways for innovation to flourish and for young minds to see themselves reflected in the future of science and technology. Ka Setswana ra tle re re ngwana yo saleleng o shwela tharing. And today this initiative gives voice to dreams that have long waited to be heard. Through the vision of the NRF and the unwavering commitment of the DSTI, we witness not just the launch of a program, but the rising of a generation. Scholars who will build bridges of knowledge, who will write new chapters in the story of our nation, and who will remind us that education isn't just empowerment, it is liberation. Na ke moradi a borra setshedi ke moradi a tlhagana tsa marawana setlogolwana sa borra moeng me batsadi rile bante ba re ngwana yo re mo tsaletswe ngwana yo re mo filwe ke modimo ka nna re mo filwe setshedi, and it is my greatest honor to come and serve as your program director. You're all welcome. Without any further ado, let us move right along to the opening and welcome remarks. I would like to ask Ms. Funeka Khumalo to join me on stage on behalf of the NRF Board Chairperson, Professor Ari Cetus. Ms. Funeka Khumalo, let us put our hands together for Ms. Funeka, please.
Program Director, Honorable Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, Professor Blade Nzimande, Director General of Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, Dr. Mlungisi Cele, members of the NRF Board, NRF Acting Chief Executive Officer, Dr. Angus Peterson, NRF Deputy CEO for Research, Innovation, Impact Support and Advancement, Dr. Gugumuche. Other members of the NRF Corporate Executive and Senior Management, officials from the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, Deputy Vice Chancellors, Directors, for Research and Innovation present, esteemed research chairs and their representatives, local and international partners present, friends of the NRF, distinguished guests, members of the media, organizers of the event led by the Unit for Strategic Investments and Innovation and Impact, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon. It is an honor for me to welcome you to this important occasion on behalf of the NRF Board Chairperson, Professor Ari Cetus, who conveys sincere apologies for not being able to attend due to prior commitments. May I also take this moment to convey his strong support for the initiative we are launching and celebrating today. We are gathered here to officially launch a very important program, the Decadal Plan Aligned Research Chairs for Historically Disadvantaged Institutions, Universities of Technology, and Emerging Universities, a milestone that speaks directly to our collective vision of the kind of research system South Africa seeks to build. A vibrant and capable research enterprise cannot thrive without intentional inclusion, strong institutions, and sustained investment in people. While South Africa's research system has achieved notable excellence, we must also confront the historical and structural imbalances that have limited the growth of research capacity across much of our higher education sector. This initiative represents a deliberate and strategic intervention by extending research leadership into HDIs, UoTs, and emerging universities. We are strengthening institutional research cultures, developing the next generation of scholars, and ensuring that knowledge production is aligned with the national priorities and societal needs. To our newly appointed research chairs, today we acknowledge your academic achievements and the important leadership role you now assume. You are entrusted with building research communities, mentoring emerging scholars, and generating knowledge that has real impact, locally, nationally, and globally. We extend our appreciation to the Department of Science, Technology, and Innovation for its continued policy leadership, and our university partners for creating the environments in which research excellence can flourish. As the NRF board, we are confident that this cohort of research chairs will contribute meaningfully to a transformed, resilient, and competitive national system of innovation. We look forward to the journey ahead and to witnessing the impact of your work. Thank you and welcome.
Thank you so much, Ms. Funeka Khumalo. Can you just give her a round of applause one more time? She spoke about how we look forward to a journey. And moving along, we've got the Deputy CEO of RIISA that will tell us more about the journey towards the Decadal Planned-Aligned Research Chairs. Let us put together our hands for Dr. Gugu Moche.
Sorry. Okay, whilst this is coming on, let me greet you and say, as they always say, all protocol observed. So, good afternoon. What we intend to do with this presentation is to tell a story of how we moved to the initial conceptualization of such chairs to where we are today in terms of celebrating the newly installed chairs, 41 of them who are from HDIs, UoTs, and emerging universities. And just to quickly tell you background of it, if you look at the NRF mandate, it's anchored on 4 legs. The first leg is the leg that actually propels this initiative, and it's that leg that says, how do you actually create HCD for the sector and for the country? And the second part is the one that says, that how do we ensure that there's national research facilities that allows for the support of this research ecosystem. And the third one says it's not enough to have the HCD. It's not enough to have research platforms. It's absolutely crucial that there's some level of public awareness and public engagement with science. Hence, the engagement with science through SASTA, which is focused on science engagement and engaged research. And finally, the last part is the part that says it's not enough to do all that without contributing to the building of the national system of innovation. And for that, as we quickly move through this, the NRF then says, guided by DSTI, we then say that there has to be a lens through which we judge what we do: transformation, innovation, excellence, and sustainability. And the question says, to what point for impact? So you will note that quite a bit of the initiatives that comes out of the NRF are now focused on social impact. And the question then becomes, how do we ensure that research benefits our society? Just very quickly to say, how do we get to this point? What is that policy framework that actually got us to where we are? Right? And if you look, and just a brief historical evolution of our policy landscape, you will note that what we then cluster as phase one, which is post-1994, was when the key focus was on institution building and coordination. This is the time where the 1996 white paper on science and technology came in. This is the time where the establishment of NACI came in, and this is the time when the establishment of the NRF came in. And the policy imperative at the time was to say, how do we create a coherent democratic research and innovation system? So you will note that the implication at this point is to say, how do we build capacity? So at this point, what is important is how do we ensure that we build research capacity that begins to have an element of redress. Phase two is the phase that can be categorized from 2000 to 2007. And here the policy logic was to say that research and innovation should be purposeful, inclusive, and aligned to national imperatives. So this is the time where we are seeing priorities then being on equity and strategic sectors. And this is where the National Research and Development Strategy starts to conceptualize the concept of the Saatchi chairs. So we see also this is the time where we have the indigenous knowledge systems that also begins to feed into the conceptualization of the chairs and the centers of excellence later. Phase three is the time that can be categorized from 2008 and 2012. Here, the policy logic is that public research must translate into economic and social value. So whereas initially you were looking at, can we then look at the issue of redress? Can we make sure that we increase the number of researchers and transform the landscape? This is now saying that that is not enough. What is now important is that public research must translate into economic and social value. The phase that then followed that is the phase of 2012 to 2019, where then the policy lever here, or the policy logic, is that STI is a lever for poverty reduction, inequality, and state capability. And the focus here is where we see the National Development Plan guiding us towards 2030. The National Development Plan then saying, for example, by 2030, we should be producing around 5,000 PhD per year. Currently, we are, I think, around 3,400. The question is, how do we then ensure that we deliver on the NDP imperatives? Again, the implication here is that research impact becomes central to the legitimacy of public funding. Phase 5 is the phase that comes from 2019 to present. This is where we are seeing 2019 white paper on STI, whose operationalization is in the Decadal plan, which informed what we are celebrating here today. So the implications here is that it's not enough to count. What is important is that we must make sure that research elevates our country. Very quickly, if you then, with that in mind, say, how did we get here? I've already talked about the 1996 white paper and the national and R&D strategy in 2002. But in 2006, we see the establishment of SACHI as a DSTI initiative, DST at the time, and implemented by the NRF in 2008. And notice the intentionality of this initiative. 2008 is it's established by 2006 is established by 2008. We already have 72 research chairs who are awarded, and already we have 374 postgraduate students supported. This is an initiative that we know works. 2009, there's a commitment of 150 million to make sure that there can be an expansion of the initiative. At that point, we have now 82 research chairs from 72. That was in 2008. We are now in 82. In 2015, again, the element of intentionality comes in. The interrogation of the chairs then says that there has to be that we are elevating the number of female researchers that are holding the SACHI chairs. There was a call, and in 2015, under Minister Pando, we see 42 female chairs being announced, and at this point, we have a total of 197 chairs that are being reported. 2019, this is where we see the STI on the white paper on science, technology, and innovation, and the Decadal plan affirming the 15-year investment logic of SACHI. 2023, we are now seeing NRF reporting 197, and now as we stand, we are around 321 chairs that have been awarded. In 2026, which is now, we are now saying we have 41 Decadal plan aligned chairs launched for HDIs, UoT, and emerging universities. Very briefly about SACHI. Why SACHI? Why are we doing this as a country? We do this because we believe, or the thinking at the time was that research must be strengthened, research capacity. So initially, there was an HCD part of it, which still exists. But that's not just that. It's also, how do we ensure that we address the challenges of the country, but not only that, how do we address the lack of transformation? Hence, you have seen through that journey the intervention, including the intervention that we are celebrating today. 3 types of chairs. We have your SACHI chairs who are focused on basic research. You have ones that are focused on industry and innovation, or in partnership with industry and innovation. For example, we have the ones with Standard Bank, for example. And we have bilateral and international research chairs, and these are largely focused on international type of priorities. And so, in essence, as we sit today, the number of SACHI chairs that have been awarded is 362. And if you look at, is there a little bit of, is there transformation that we can talk about? You will also note that because of being deliberate, you can then start to see the number of Black research chairs and the number of female chairs. Partnerships, note that these are some of the partners that are part of the program. Note that some of these are co-funded chairs, and some are through the bilateral initiatives. Can be that we are then doing this without necessarily paying attention to the SDGs. So initial initiatives made sure that there's an alignment with the SDGs, and what this diagram does is to show you the alignment that the chairs has with the SDGs. So it's not enough to say, I am focused just on my research. It is to what extent is the research enabling the country to address the challenges, and to what extent is it contributing to the development goals. And if you're saying, are they delivering? We say, yes, they do. Note that just the research articles from 2012 to 2023, you had around 14,952 outputs that were produced. And also note that there are books, there are patents, there are prototypes, there's policy briefings that comes out of it, and you look at it and say, this is an instrument that definitely works. What are some of the examples that we see? For example, there's a chair that was very much appraised by Water Research Council, and this chair is focused on water food systems, learning, vocation, education, and multi-institutional partnerships at Rhodes University. And very briefly, reading some of what they say, it says the work was of this Amanzi for food was inspired or worked or was very much led by a Sachi chair who then also worked with the University of Mpumalanga. Not only that, that's largely that you see applications being on issues around water. There's also such chairs that produce artifacts that look at, for example, pharmaceutical innovation with IP that then gets to say, how do we make sure that there's translation of research into artifacts that begins to produce alternative medicine that can be affordable. There's also in social sciences, if you're thinking this is just focused on the sciences, if you look at University of Fort Hare, they have a very strong collaboration with Spelman, and the chair is looking at the translational Black feminist scholarship and global South diaspora networks. And so, with that in mind, question then becomes, if we look around, do we see disparities? And indeed, what this graph shows, it shows you before the intervention what the distribution of the chairs were. Note that there are some institutions where we didn't even have chairs. And what this intervention said, it said, what we intend to do is that for institutions who has less than 14 chairs, they're eligible for raising their hands. And these are largely HDIs, UoTs, new universities and emerging new universities, and universities that have researchers, such chairs that are less than 14. And the number of applications we received around 147 applications. And you can see, for example, DUT leading the pack with 26 applications, followed by UWC with 21 applications, but everywhere there were applications. And if you were to look at it from HDIs, we had 66 applications, 58 from UoTs, 4 from new universities, and the universities that were less than 14, I think there were 3 or so, that we received 19. And if you look at CISM categories, I'm not looking at the actual topics, but in terms of CISM categories, you see that they were in the natural sciences and social science, in engineering, in health, in the humanities, and some were interdisciplinary. And the outcome, we ended up with 41 chairs. Now you can see that the number that then came from universities of technology, how much we ended up with, how much we ended up with HDIs, and you can now see, for example, that some institutions which had 0 now have a chair. The institutions that initially, if you look the comparator on your right, you can then see the movement that this intervention has made. And in terms of Tier 1 and Tier 2, remember Tier 1, it's about 3 million per annum. Tier 2 is 2 million. Tier 1 is up to 15 years. Tier 2 is 10 years with possibility of then moving into Tier 1. But what this distribution shows, it shows you the distribution in terms of gender, in terms of the institutions that were targeted. But also, this decadal plan aligned such chairs. Note that if you look at it, you start to look at where exactly are we seeing alignment with the decadal plan. What this then shows is the number of chairs that are then looking at circular economy, education for future, sustainable energy, future of society, health innovation, high-tech industrialization, nutrition security, water security, and some research might traverse more than one thematic area. Question then becomes, with that in mind, what happens beyond the chair? And their thinking could be that the chair then can look at, then we're having a center of excellence, or if there are issues that need to be addressed, or if there are chairs that are in the same area, there's a possibility of forming communities of practice, and also we could be having national institutes. And currently, as a country, we have 2 national institutes. It's your National Institute for Theoretical and Computational Sciences and the Institute for the Preparedness and Prevention of Pandemics. So the idea being, whilst the funding is there to ensure that the chair addresses their area of research, question then becomes, beyond the funding period, what happens? And with that, ladies and gentlemen, let me thank you and say congratulations to our chairs.
Thank you so much, Dr. Gugu. Thank you. We really appreciate it. We shall move right along, and it is with absolute privilege and a moment of great national significance to invite to the podium the Honorable Minister of the Department of Science, Technology and Innovation, a leader who carries not just the title, but the responsibility of shaping the future of science, innovation, and opportunity in South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask that you rise as you join me with a powerful round of applause, and we welcome the Honorable Minister, His Excellency Professor Blade Nzimande. May we all rise.
Thank you very much. You may be seated. Greetings to the program director, Ms. Setsedi, our DG, Dr. Mlungi Scele, and as well as the DDGs from DSTI who are with us here, members of the NRF board, and thanks for your company this afternoon. The acting CEO of the NRF, the executives of the NRF, head of our public science and academic institutions, the CEO of NRF Kenya, CEO and directors of HERI, CEO of the Commission of University Education, Kenya, Principal Secretaries of Higher Education and Science, Research and Innovation in Kenya. Most importantly, let me greet our 41 newly appointed SACI chairholders. There is absolutely no question that today is a profoundly historic moment for South Africa's national system of innovation. A moment that holds immeasurable significance for our department's strategic goal of ensuring that we build a transformed and socially responsive national system of innovation. Today we are officially launching 41 new research chairs under the South African Research Chairs Initiative, SACI. It pleases me to state that these research chairs have been deliberately awarded to our historically disadvantaged institutions, as Dr. Moche explained, universities of technology and our new universities such as Sol Plaatje University, which is being awarded a research chair for the first time in its history. So Sol Plaatje, we once more firmly welcome you to the community of universities in South Africa. This is very important. Given the stature of today's event, I wish to reflect on several issues which I believe are important for the advancement of our country's science, technology, and innovation agenda. Now, on the global context, what is the global context within which we are holding this event? I'm raising this because it's very important in terms of what we are doing, as well as in the future of what we are doing today. We are launching these research chairs against a backdrop of a profoundly unpredictable geopolitical and economic environment, which is characterized by the persistence of global inequality, food insecurity, the growing threat of pandemics, climate change and environmental calamities, as well as the impact of disruptive technologies. By the way, Chair, I should have thanked you that this height of a podium it should be a normal and standard height. Because I can see we are beginning to drift now to design instruments and environments that are meant for tall people. We are not allowed to be called short people. We are just not so tall. Even more disturbing in the current environment is the growing shift towards a blatant disregard for international law and multilateralism, and the use of science, and in particular emerging technologies such as AI, to commit some of the most unspeakable human rights violations, including what is now today called epistemicide or scholasticide, the destruction of schools and universities. AI is being used in the genocide in Gaza today, which, by the way, acts as a reminder that science, those of us who are in science, we must jealously guard science to be used for the benefit of humanity and not for the destruction of humanity. Now, I'm not talking politics, I'm a politician. But when you hear a leader of the most powerful country in the world saying, we'll bomb a country to the Stone Age, and that a whole civilization will be wiped out in one night using some very sophisticated arms, it must act as a reminder to us as scientists that in practicing our science, we also need to ensure that we use science for the benefit of humanity and not for the destruction of humanity. Now, the launch of these research chairs also takes place a few weeks after we released our 2025 Science, Technology and Innovation Indicators report by our entity, the National Advisory Council on Innovation, NACI. There is general agreement that these reports provide us with a sobering and useful diagnostics on the performance of our country's national system of innovation. For instance, the NACI report observes that while we have seen remarkable strides, such as increase in female representation amongst academic staff in our universities to 52%, and also Black South African academic staff increasing to 62%, we are also still facing significant headwinds. It further observes this report that our gross expenditure on research and development, what we call GED, as a percentage of GDP has declined to 0.61% from 0.67% before COVID. A far cry from our national target of 1.5%, which we must reach by 2030 within the 5 years that we are in. This decline is largely driven by a reduction in investment into R&D by the private sector. And this threatens our global competitiveness and our ability to industrialize and innovate. It is therefore our expectation that the research chairs that we are unveiling here today must help us to develop coherent responses to these and other observations that are made by our latest STI indicators report. That is why the research chairs that are being awarded today are consciously aligned to the priority areas of our decadal plan for science, technology, and innovation, 2022 to 2032. It's a 10-year plan. We appreciate this. This is a very important intervention. The strategic intent for the South African Research Chairs initiative, which I just wish to briefly reflect on, is that the Research Chairs initiative, as Dr. Moche strongly indicated, has been our principal instrument for strategic human resources development. To date, we have awarded a total of 331 research chairs, with over 200 currently operational. These chairs have been instrumental in moving the needle on our PhD production, helping us reach a point where 52.5% of our permanent academic staff now hold doctoral degrees. An important achievement. However, there is something else, though, that worries me. Maybe I'm an old-fashioned PhD graduate. I'm willing to admit that. But never in my life have I seen people advertising that we can do literature research for you, for your PhD. We can write your PhD. we can help you to do this or that aspect of your PhD, what's the point of a PhD then? If you are going to do literature survey for me and help me analyze it and help me to write my PhD, then as far as I'm concerned, we are no longer the holder of that PhD. Now, I'm worried about this, deeply worried. I've asked NACI to work with the Department of Higher Education and Training, and we tackle this. There are people now who are earning money by writing for others. They earn money. And that's corruption, by the way. So I think that one of the most precious possessions of any country is its qualifications. If your qualifications lose status and respect, you are finished as a country. Now, NRF, you are the single biggest public funder of PhDs in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken. We must join together to fight this thing. Well, call me an old-fashioned PhD graduate. By the way, I wrote my PhD using WordPerfect 4.1. With 2 big black disks, one for the program, one to save your material. Once you do it the other way, you lose all what you had written. But I've never known that we've actually reached. Let's fight this. I want to plead with all of you that we fight this. As you may be aware, historically research chairs were concentrated at a handful of research-intensive and mainly previously advantaged universities in South Africa. Today's events signals a deliberate change of this disparity by awarding 32 of these 41 chairs to black researchers. We are not just changing who does research, we are also changing where that research is done and for whom. Furthermore, in establishing the research chairs, we've also recognized that what we call a persistent innovation paradox. While we produce excellent research, we are also seeing a decline in patent registrations. From 36.3 million people in 2022 to just 18.6 people, 18.6 in 2023. Our research system, by the way, is excellent here in South Africa. I can say this without fear of contradiction. Excellent at generating knowledge, but we are still not necessarily commercializing at the desired scale. We therefore view the awarding of these 41 research chairs as part of our response to this paradox. Now, what should be the strategic tasks of the new chairholders? I'm not used to this. I'm used to shareholders. Okay. Chairholders. Not that I'm a shareholder, by the way, but the third and final issue I wish to reflect on are some of the strategic tasks of the new shareholders. While our traditional universities may focus on discovery-led research, as stated, these new research chairs are specifically aligned to the societal grand challenges and priorities of our decadal plan. Now, your path is set, but it doesn't mean we're going to say to you, do this topic and not this topic. But within the broad focus area of the focus areas of the decadal plan. So whether we are researching just energy transition, green hydrogen, or data science, your work must be socially responsive also. Your research must provide evidence-based solutions for food security, water sanitation, and the energy challenges that are facing our communities and our countries. Including the communities, by the way, that surrounds a lot of where your campuses are. This brings me to the vital role of what is normally called communities of practice. COP. We are no longer funding silos. We expect our shareholders to work together to solve the many critical problems that we face in our era: structural poverty, spatial segregation, and the impacts of climate change, including this new pandemic, gender-based violence. I don't know what kind of a country can we be if we keep on killing the majority of our population, women. We need solutions to these problems, and research has got a very important role to play in this regard. Important as publishing in journals may be, as the Minister of Science, Technology and Innovation, frankly, I'm tired of seeing research that only ends up in journal articles, important as this is. But would also like to see research that ends up in rural communities, in villages, as well as in new innovations for new industries and new sectors of the economy. Our 2025 STI indicators report that I was referring to earlier shows that while our publications receive more citations than the global average, by the way, we are importing 10 times more intellectual property than we are exporting. We must use these communities of practice to resolve this conundrum. We also recognize the immense pressures faced by some of our universities regarding the supervisory pipeline. That's one crisis point, by the way. We are short of supervisors, especially PhD supervisors. Our new universities often have modern infrastructure but lack a deep well of experienced supervisors found in older institutions. This is why we are advocating for what we call a cluster chair model. We want to see our tier 1 chairs, for instance, at established universities, formally mentoring early career researchers at a university like Sol Plaatje University and the University of Mpumalanga, and in the HDIs. Our national system of innovation must function as a single and integrated organism. Now, let me clarify myself here, because universities by their nature are competitive. We are not saying stop being competitive, but you can both be competitive and collaborate at the same time. The two things are not necessarily in contradiction. I was having a briefing this earlier today by the DG on our program, which is the South African Research Infrastructure Roadmap, SERAR. And I was saying, we need to ask the question, which of this infrastructure, for instance, is at the University of Zululand? We need to ask and answer those questions. Also, how many researchers, scientists from our HDIs are participating in the usage, application of this research infrastructures? Take the square kilometer array. So these are things that we hope that this kind of intervention will work towards addressing. Dr. Mocha raises an important point. We want 5,000 PhD graduates per year by 2030. Dr. Mocha, is that what you said? Huh? Yeah. Yes. But we must qualify this. We want 5,000 genuine PhDs. Okay? Not just PhDs. Genuine PhDs. Now, I feel bad because those who have done PhDs, they know doing a PhD is no child's play. I remember when I was towards finishing my PhD, I was at the University of Oxford on sabbatical. I used to drive a bicycle, you know, to an office somewhere where I would go and hide and continue to do my research. It was hard. Now, people, they just write for yourself and then you are now called a doctor. This thing irritates me to no end. Start. I don't want to lie. It really angers me to no end. We also hope, by the way, that DG, we will also have encourage whistleblowers. Because some people boast about this and say, so and so, I wrote for him or her. I wrote for so and so, I wrote for so and so. But we want these PhDs also to be innovative. If your PhD has been written for you, you can't be innovative. By the way, the other thing, a number of universities in South Africa do not require PhD graduates to defend their theses or dissertations. I know Stellenbosch does. I did mine at the University of Natal. I didn't have to defend it. I didn't even know that there was something existing, because that can help to curb this corruption if you are going to go and defend what we have written here, so that you know what it actually is. Now, we need also to address the financial resilience of our research system. With the decline in GERD, our universities must become more adept at securing third stream income. I'm not turning our universities into consultants, but in a disciplined way, try and earn third stream income. We cannot continue to allow international grants to place a hidden burden on the South African fiscus by under-recovering operational costs. By accurately costing our research, we protect our national budget and ensure that the 3 million annual investment we make in each Tier 1 chair yields a sustainable long-term return for the system as well as for the taxpayer. We also expect our vice-chancellors, including our DVCs responsible for research, by the way, to help us ensure that our research agenda as a country and continent is sovereign and not entirely donor-driven. That's another case we have in the African continent. Yes, we're a poor continent, we need money. But what ends up happening is that Africa's research agenda is donor-determined and donor-driven. We need to fight for our own sovereign research agenda in the continent. And our true friends who want to support us from Europe or the United States, except those who are taking away their money, we want them to prove that they are our genuine friends by supporting our agenda. We have what is called Science, Technology, Innovation Strategy for Africa, STISA, which is a very good program. And it's an African program. We need to support that. It's also important to state that as a department, we are not complacent about the role and impact of our research chairs. And this is why we've commissioned a comprehensive impact evaluation of the SAKI program from its inception to present day. Maybe we need a SAKI chair on SAKI chairs. How is that? How is that, eh? We help anyone. We'll give you a SAKI chair on biotechnology or a SAKI chair on this. But you are NRF, you don't have a SAKI chair on SAKI chairs. You know, to see ongoing evaluation and strengthening of this system, because it's a very good system, to be quite honest. Now, we want to know exactly how this investment in SAKI chairs has touched the lives of women, youth, and those in our most disadvantaged communities. Furthermore, I want to make this point, and I know this is a sensitive point, but I have to make it. While we value hosting and having exchange programs between South Africa and other countries, especially in the African continent. But it's equally important for us to ensure that the majority of masters and PhD students and other researchers in our SAKI program are South African. It's only fair. It's only fair. All countries do that. So it's very important that we address this, because sometimes, honestly, there are things that are not, as I say, we value the presence of researchers and scholars from other parts of our continent as South Africa. No research system can thrive if it doesn't have ideas coming from different countries. But you have a professor who comes from the Czech Republic. After a while in this university, you notice that all your masters and PhD students are from the Czech Republic and studying problems about the Czech Republic and nothing about South Africa. We do need to guard against that, because we also are dealing with a legacy of apartheid, which caused enormous damage and inconvenience. I was just telling my colleagues as we were in the having lunch, why am I excited about this? And the importance of HDIs, University of Technologies as well. When I applied to go to university in 1976, to a university which was 12 kilometers away from home, and I was going to be staying at home, I was told, that's not your university, that's a white university. Go to your own Zulu university, University of Zululand, which was 300 kilometers away from home. That's where I studied. I'm proud, though, of my university for what it gave me, despite the fact that apartheid had told me that that was only the university. So let's just address this matter as a fair issue, because there is a legacy also that we need to be addressing. In conclusion, before I bore you to death, if I have not already done so, if I have, I apologize. I'm very passionate about this, what we are doing today. Our expectations for these new 41 research chairs is to help us enhance the research capacity of our historically disadvantaged institutions as well, universities of technologies and our new universities. We also expect them to be deliberate about the development and mentoring of young Black and women researchers. You can't have a research community that continues to have less women than men. It just is not a reflection of society and the capacity that we have, by way of example. Most importantly, you have a duty to ensure that the knowledge that is produced by our public universities enables our strategic mission of placing science, technology, and innovation at the center of government, education, industry, and society to be realized. Let me end then by saying very warm congratulations to all our new research chairholders. I wish you well as you undertake this significant role, and you have my full support. I thank you very much. But I'm not a chairholder. Why do you want me to sit at the chair?
Let us please put our hands together for the minister. Thank you so much, Minister. I must say, as I was going through rehearsals as well, saying chairholders instead of shareholders was a bit of a tongue twister. But thank you. And here's to genuine PhDs that the minister is very, very passionate about, because he who establishes something has the responsibility to maintain it. So how are you going to maintain something and defend something that you didn't establish? So here is really to true and genuine PhDs. Thank you. We will move right along to the chair holders that we are here for today, the people we are here to honor, the people that we are here to put our hands together for. Yes. For when research rises with purpose and nation does not simply learn, it becomes. Want men onderwys bou ons 'n sterker nasie. I'd like to ask that Dr. Angus Peterson and the DG, Dr. Mlungi Sitkele, may come and join me on the stage on my right side, and we already have the Minister and Ms. Funega Khumalo.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Angus Patterson. I'm the acting CEO of the NRF. We get to the real exciting part now, which is handing over the awards of the SARCHIs. Unfortunately, the DG had to step out, but I am very, very comforted by the fact that I have 3 of my board members with me here today, and they will certainly put a little bit more glamour than myself. So I'm going to start off with asking Dr. Khumalo to come up and hey? And then we'll have myself and Ntombi, and then myself and Luhlani. Okay. So we're just going to do it.
May I ask that Dr. Ntombi Muchukwani may join Dr. Angus Peterson? And as we go along with receiving the certificates, may I ask that the chair holders, you may receive your certificate on this side, and then we stand this side behind the Minister and Ms. Funega Khumalo to get our pictures this side. And then as we're taking our pictures, may I also ask that the DVC of each institution may come up to the stage and take a picture with their candidates behind, or the representatives of the universities. Are we all good? All right. We'll go straight into it. We will start with the Cape Peninsula University of Technology. We'll start with Professor Tiko Iyamu in absentia, who will be represented by Professor Marshall Sheldon. Let's put our hands together. We will ask for Professor Jennifer Case in absentia, who will be represented by Professor Dina Berger. Let's put our hands together. May I ask for Professor Zaid Workhead? Let's put our hands together. And may I ask that the DVC join them on stage as they get their group picture with the Minister and Ms. Funega. All right. All right. Yes, seated. Yes. Round of applause for Cape Peninsula University of Technology. Congratulations. We'll now go to the Central University of Technology, and I'd like to call Professor Kazumba Kusakana. Let's put our hands together. Round of applause for Cape Central University of Technology. Excuse me. Yes. Moving right along to Durban University of Technology. I'd like to call on stage Professor Rendani Wilson Maladzi. Let's put our hands together. It's heavy. Professor Sheena Kumari Kutan Pillai. Let's put our hands together. Professor Eric Oscar Amonso. Let's put our hands together for them. Professor Olive Stumke. Let's put our hands together. Professor Fano Mushau. Professor Tabito Grace Mukurezi. Professor Coogan Pamal. And the Durban University of Technology will take their group picture with the DVC. Big round of applause for Durban University of Technology.
We need to manage it.
Moving right along to Nelson Mandela University, Professor Alice Deportes. Let's put our hands together. A warm round of applause for the Nelson Mandela University. Moving right along to my hometown, the Northwest University. Professor Ariemi Ariemu. Let's put our hands together for Professor Ariemi Ariemu. Professor Rashaid Adilik. Round of applause for the University of Northwest University. May I ask that Ms. Lahlani Malema might join Dr. Angus Peterson on stage. As we move right along to the Rhodes University, Professor Snwabile Mwana, let's put our hands together. Round of applause for Rhodes University. We shall move to Tshwane University of Technology. We honor Professor Shengezi Du, together with your DVC. So now we've got one chair holder that the minister even mentioned in his speech, right? We've got a chair holder from Sol Plaatje. And I'd like to ask the minister, Ms. Funeka, and Dr. Ntombi Muchweni to please come on my right as we honor the one from Sol Plaatje, the first of many. May I please ask? I'd like to call on stage Professor Boitumelo Molebogeng Diales, Sol Plaatje University. A round of applause for the first of many.
We're okay here.
Thank you. History is being made by Sol Plaatje University. A round of applause for Sol Plaatje University once more. We shall move along to University of Fort Hare. Professor Amon Taruvunga. Let's put our hands together. Professor Anthony Oko. Let's put our hands together. Round of applause for University of Fort Hare. We shall move to the University of Free State, Professor Sandile Steenhuisen. Let's put our hands together. Big round of applause for the University of Free State. We shall be moving to the University of Limpopo. Professor Phuthi Ngwepe, in absentia, represented by Professor Khomotso Manaija. Professor Tebogo Maria Mutiba. Let's put our hands together. Professor Kgotatso Shai, in absentia, represented by Lebogang Legodi. Put our hands together. Let's give a warm round of applause for the University of Limpopo. Moving right along to the University of South Africa, Professor Ilunga Kamika. Let's put our hands together. Professor Moko Solomon Katle. Let's put our hands together. Big round of applause for the University of South Africa. We shall be moving to the University of Venda. Professor Michael Chimonyo. Let's put our hands together. Professor Edimola Oluborode Jekhere in absentia, represented by Professor Jabulani Makubele. Let's put our hands together. Professor Pascal Obong Besong. Professor Hlanganapai Ngirende H. Let's put our hands together. And we have wrapped up the University of Venda. A big round of applause for University of Venda. We will now be moving to the University of Western Cape. Professor Admire Dube. Professor Christopher Arenze. Professor Jennifer Chips. Professor Luis Leonen. Professor Marshall Keister. Professor Mervyn Mayer. Professor Russell Kostula. Let's put our hands together. Professor Tamara Schaefer. In absentia. Professor Fiona Anciano. Let's put our hands together. Professor Fiona Anciano. Big round of applause for the University of Western Cape. We move right along to the University of Zululand. Professor Nerish Rivaprasadu.
That's what happens when you win something.
Professor Innocent Moyo. A big round of applause for the University of Zululand. Now we move to the Walter Sisulu University. Professor Constance Siwani Rusike. Let's put our hands together. And that is all 41 chair holders. A big round of applause to them. May I please kindly ask that all the chairs come on stage and get a picture with the minister. A group picture with the minister. Without the certificates.
Without the certificates, yeah.
You know, it's a bit heavy. Let's just come.
Stand here.
Before you go on.
But you can go this time around.
No,
No, come.
Prof, please.
Remember me, please.
Prof, please.
I'm Olo. Olo Borode.
Is it spelled correctly? Yeah, it's spelled correctly.
Ah, okay.
No.
Prof. Oh, it's coming.
A big round of applause once again for our chairs. Congratulations to all of you. We shall now continue with our program, I'd like to ask Dr. Angus Peterson, one of the board members, to come with closing remarks. Dr. Angus Peterson. Let's put our hands together.
I'm going to regard protocol as observed. First thing is, this is a celebration. Okay? Go on, guys. It's a historic landmark day. It's not something that happens all the time. So a big congratulations to all the awardees. I mean, and it is something certainly very special. So I'm not going to dwell on protocol. I just wanted to say, before we kick off with a couple of words from myself, you know, this is an auspicious day. It's not a normal day. It's a very auspicious day. If you look at what we have here, is really something that's been long in the making, and certainly something that is really required. The other aspect that I wanted to say is, I really don't like my minister, because when you have to talk after him, you just feel like very inadequate, because he speaks so well. And the one thing you learn as I'm an ichthyologist by training is you can never compete with a social scientist when it comes to talking. So you just do your best. Minister Nzimande, I look up to you. I hope I don't let you down now. 41 research chairs. It's certainly amazing in terms of research capacity across South Africa's higher education sector. In other words, this is not a token gesture. This is an instrument of substance. 41 research chairs is something special, very special. And again, let's just pause for a second and think about what we've done today. Something very special. Let's just pause and think a little bit about the tens of thousands of hours that the professors have put in here. And it wasn't through ChatGPT and AI. Okay, these are genuine SARTI chairs, Prof. Okay. The launch of the Decadal Aligned Research Chairs for historically disadvantaged institutions, universities of technology, and emerging universities really does make a major milestone in South Africa's national system of innovation. It's a moment that not only speaks to progress, but also to purpose. One that acknowledges our past honestly, which we do need to acknowledge honestly. We have a very difficult past, but also take decisive steps forward. And this is what a decisive step looks like. For decades, the architecture of the higher education system and research system reflected deep structural inequalities shaped by the apartheid landscape. While there was much progress made after democracy, we must also acknowledge that the historical imbalances still exist and are not sufficiently addressed. They require, and will continue to require, deliberate intervention. When I had lunch with the minister today, the first thing he said is, Angus, you know that this is the start. I'll be back at you. Okay? This is something that we're going to grow, something that we need to grow, something that was very clearly articulated in the Decadal Plan as being a priority of the DSTI and of the system. So I certainly, the NRF this morning, well, at lunchtime, got our marching orders yet again from the minister. Very clear, very direct. You will drive transformation within the system. And today's launch is tangible demonstration of this leadership. The initiative affirms that transformation within the research enterprise is not incidental. It's a result of conscious choices, long-term commitment by the department in terms of funding. We know how long-term the commitment is in terms of funding for the SARTI chairs. It recognizes that truly capable and competitive research systems cannot be built on the narrow foundations of a few universities, but needs to stretch across the entire system. And this requires deliberate, intentional and courageous leadership, which has certainly come from the DSTI, and also from the DVCs, and also from the universities that are all represented today. This is a culmination of decades of work to make sure that we drive change. It's certainly, we celebrate today, it's not just an awarding of research chairs, we celebrate the strengthening of intentional research ecosystems, which is what Professor Nzimande spoke about how we've got to make more than just the individuals, but work together. We need to create, as he said to the new SARTI chairs, we need to work with emerging scholars, and we need to position the universities across the country as really meaningful contributors to national development priorities. And this is a nexus, and the Professor Nzimande said at lunchtime why he was so excited today. He said, one, it speaks directly to the Decadal Plan directives. Two, it speaks directly to the historically disadvantaged institution. And three, it drives transformation. And four, he goes the full circle to make sure that what happened in 1976 when he got told to go to University of Zululand instead of 12 kilometers down the road is not what is happening now to our new learners and our new cohort of students that come through. But similarly, that our students want to go to University of Zululand. The University of Zululand had how many SARCHI chairs here? That it's something that we can be proud of and drive change within the system. And that's what the NRF is all about. I'd also like to commend the NRF team for the exceptional work that's gone into bringing this to fruition. It hasn't been easy, a lot of hard work. The SARCHI program is not given away. It's earned, competitively evaluated. It's not just something that you get. The people that stood up here did the hard work, and they will continue to do the hard work. Honourable Minister, our sincere appreciation goes to the Department of DSTI for the leadership in the Decadal Plan and the commitment that you have shown to programs such as this, and also guided the NRF in the directions that we need to go to make sure that we address transformation in the country. So really, what we're looking at is developing a broad-based, resilient, transformed, but most importantly, a system that addresses the lives of South Africans. And when you look at the type of SARCHIs, unfortunately we didn't go through what they were all awarded in. They directly align to the Decadal Plan, and the Decadal Plan directly aligns to improving the lives of South Africans. So today is a great celebration for the universities, for the SARCHI chairs themselves who have done all the hard work. And by the way, the Minister will be watching you because you will be expected to work hard and continue to do that so that we sit here in the next 15 and 20 years with the next cohort of SARCHI chairs that come through. But today is indeed an auspicious occasion in the history of South Africa's national system of innovation, that we are making changes, that we need to make changes, and we recognize that these changes are there. And we stand for excellence across all universities. So I'd just like to say thank you once again to everyone for making the journey, and once again to the Minister as well as the board members for making today such a special day. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Dr. Angus Peterson. We'll now call on stage the NRF choir to just cement this beautiful launch once again. NRF choir, the stage is yours. That is the NRF choir Barantaten Tekele Sana Marena. Can you please get a big round of applause? Lemo Holokwane. Today has been more than a program. It has been a statement of intent, a reminder that transformation, innovation, and excellence are not distant dreams, but active commitments that we are building together. To all, we thank the Honorable Minister of the Department of Science and Innovation, our leadership, and all the partners for their vision and dedication to advancing science, research, and inclusion in our country. To all our distinguished guests, thank you for your presence, your insights, and your contributions to today's dialogue. As we depart from this space, may we carry forward the spirit of collaboration, and may the work launched here today continue to grow beyond these walls into communities, institutions, and future generations. Batadi relevante ba ba re ngwana yo re mo tsaletswe ngwana yo re mo filwe ke modimo ka nna re mo filwe Setshedi, and I had the greatest honor serving as your program director. Thank you all. Have a beautiful day.
Okay, that's it. Done.